heavyweight crown, beating Marvin Vettori. It was a unanimous points decision. He won all 5 rounds, and all 3 judges scored that fight 50-45 in his favor. So it was a dominant display from Israel Adesanya, and he got emotional during the post-match interview because one of his friends and teammate Vake unfortunately died. He had been in coma for some days, and just before Israel fought, he passed on. So Israel had to pay homage to him. He said, look, this guy was murdered. We heard that it was an alleged assault. So he fought for his life. He was in hospital for some time, but sadly he has passed away now. And after the fight, Israel called out somebody that he has fought before, Robert Whittaker. He knocked out Robert Whittaker very comfortably, and to be crowned the undisputed champion. And Whittaker since then has gone on to have some very good wins. In fact, there was somebody that Israel was saying he was looking at, the killer gorilla Cannonier. Israel said he was actually looking at him, and he could be giving him a title shot, but Robert Whittaker was able to beat Jared, the killer gorilla Cannonier, and now he is in contention for another title, and Israel Adesanya is calling him out. So maybe that will be the next fight. Of course, there were so many matches over the weekend at the UFC. We will be giving you the result, and you know that the other Nigerian champion in the UFC, Kamaru Usman, is in the country at the moment. I'm sure he must have been really delighted that his pal, his very good friend Israel Adesanya, won yesterday against Marvin Vettori. And in football, well, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, says that Bendel Insurance might pull out of the Nigerian National League. That is, if the NNL and the NFF do not take decisive action against Remo Stars over what happened to the players of Bendel Insurance. The governor said this when he went to visit players of Bendel Insurance at the hospital, and he was not happy at all with what he saw, and he said, look, this is not the first time, it's not even the second time, so we are not going to take it. And you hear from the governor when he made that statement. And of course, the Super Falcons of Nigeria were in action yesterday, and they were able to, some are calling it a golden draw. I don't know what that means. A draw is a draw. But the Super Falcons, at one point it was looking like it was all over for them, 2-0 down, but eventually that match ended 3-3. So we will review that match and every other thing happening in the world of sports. You know that Novak Djokovic has won the 2021 French Open, and now he's eyeing a Golden Slam. Golden Slam is when you win all the 4 Grand Slams in a year, and then you win the Olympic gold medal. It is an Olympic year, so we'll see whether Djokovic will be able to do the Golden Slam. Of course, if he does the Golden Slam, it will mean that he is the greatest ever tennis player. He has 19 now. If he wins 2 more, Wimbledon and the US Open, that will take him to 21, and we'll wait to see if he will be able to achieve that. What's happening in the NBA, we'll let you know. Plus, athletics, the AFN election is coming up today, but which one will be the Marvin Vettori?
Yeah, good display from Adesanya, but I think Vettori came out this time with his A game, though it wasn't good enough for him. But when you look at the way he attacked Israel Adesanya, he never wanted to give him any chance. But the last time bender for whom he is somebody who has already prepared for this kind of fight, having fought the guy 2018 after his second game following his professional debut. So for me, I think it was a tight one, though it was dominant because
it wasn't tight. The first one was even tighter. The first one was a split decision. This was split decision, means 2 judges scored it for Israel, 1 gave it to Vettori, but this time it was unanimous. Yeah. All of them giving it to Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, but then it wasn't. It did not come easy for him, honestly, because I watched the fights and I saw how he took him down twice. Though he has the strength, to take punches. That's for Israel, and if not that he was the champion and he has what it takes, to face everything that an opponent will throw onto you. I don't think he would have survived that, but all the same, I think he also would have paid respect to his opponent for the kind of fight that he gave to him. But I think he's still the one to dominate this category, honestly, because everyone he has fought, he has won every one of them, and he keeps on improving every time, every day. So for me, Israel is still a man to beat at the moment. And for Whittaker, who is calling out, well, he could have a rematch with him, but I do think Whittaker would bring Israel down. That's another big question. So for me, one thing that makes it interesting is that sometimes you have a rematch, sometimes it goes to trilogy and all that, and at the end of the day, once you beat an opponent once and twice, then there's nothing to fight for once again. So for now, I don't think Vettori will even think of calling out Israel Adesanya, and he will not be interested because twice they fought, twice he has won. So he will be calling out someone else or someone better in the division. So for me, I think he's still the undisputed in that division, but I'm looking forward to somebody who will give Israel a tough run for his money. But all the same, I think I doff my hat for the Nigerian-born New Zealander who yesterday retained his welterweight title. So kudos to Israel for winning that in a dominant form.
I honestly do not see what Ehosa saw. I saw an easy fight. I saw Israel Adesanya laughing at Vettori while the fight was on. I saw Israel Adesanya pretending to be so badly beaten that he could not stand up. He was just laughing and mocking Vettori, even when it was time for the presentation and Vettori was raising his hand. Israel was laughing, was mocking him, and when Vettori realized what Israel was doing, he put his hands down, and of course Israel's arms were raised in victory.
Well, I saw a couple of moments in that very much yesterday morning. I mean, for Israel, you will feel that he should maybe get more serious, with an opponent like that. But when you beat someone once, coming in to do it again the second time is not looking anyway. For Israel, yes,
he was feeling his punches and it wasn't hurting him. And yeah, he took Israel down a couple of times, but Israel was able to defend himself in those takedowns. Maybe Vettori watched that fight. He definitely have watched the fight between Israel and Jan Blachowicz, and he saw how Blachowicz was successful taking Israel down. Maybe he thought, okay, you've got to take this guy down, because Israel is one of the deadliest strikers in the UFC.
Well, he's got deadly strikes for Israel, but when you talk about his wrestling ability, he's not so good in that. Maybe that's what that's very UFC. As talking about Vettori decided to, of course, capitalize on. You look at yesterday's fight. Vettori tried as much as possible to take Israel down a couple of times, but then Israel was able to, get his way through him. And of course, when you talk about punches, Israel is one guy who can, of course, throw them, and also he knows how to be pretty very much defensive. Sometimes you don't need to be too cute to win matches like this. You can allow it to go the distance and then allow the judges give you a chance to win this very one. Overall, it was a comfortable day in the office for Israel Adesanya, because even though he has lost his invisibility, he was, of course, beaten in the light in heavyweight division, no doubt about that. But then if you talk about the middleweight, he's still very much the king in that very side of the UFC. He has beaten virtually everybody at the top. In fact, he's doing it all over again. He has called out a couple of artists that one of them we know, Robert Whittaker, he's already faced and of course beaten. He wants to still face him again. So let's see what will happen for Israel Adesanya. He has about 21 wins and of course 1 loss in his UFC career. That does of course help his confidence in a way, considering that a lot of people wrote him out after he was beaten by Jan Blachowicz the other time, but then he has of course bounced back like a king that he is.
And he's of course now will be gunning for the record held by his hero. That's talking about Anderson Silva at middleweight. He's the guy with the most consecutive wins. That's 13. Israel Adesanya is now on 9, going for the 10th one. So let's see if he will be able to catch up with Anderson Silva. Is somebody that Israel Adesanya has already beaten, and Israel, well, when you watch that fight, maybe he had so much respect for Anderson Silva that he didn't really go all out. They were even laughing and joking during that fight.
Anderson is now a retired man, and secondly, he fought Israel when he was more like walking away from the
of course he was past his prime and everything. Israel even said he told him, and Israel was even crying after he beat him. Anderson Silva was the one that even asked Israel to get up, that you are the champion, get up. And so Israel said he joined the UFC because of Anderson Silva. But he was watching this guy, this black skinny dude, beating guys that were way bigger than him, and he was like, hold on, I am also a black skinny dude. So if this guy can do it, I too could do this. And that's how he got into mixed martial arts. So he credits Anderson Silva, and of course watching anime. We're talking about animation. This is Japanese animated movies. That's the reason why he got into the UFC. So congratulations to Israel Adesanya for winning his match, and he remains the UFC middleweight champion. Other matches, Brandon Moreno defeated the flyweight champion Davison Figueiredo. It was a rear naked chokehold, and it was in the third round. So Brandon Moreno is the new flyweight champion. In welterweight, Leon Edwards defeated Nate Diaz. This was a unanimous points decision, while Belal Mohammed beat Damian Maya. This was in the welterweight, and Belal Mohammed, maybe somebody that people are looking at and thinking, okay, this guy can give Kamaru Usman a very good fight. Then in the light heavyweight, Paul Craig beat Jamahal Hill. This was a technical submission, armbar, and so many other fights. In the women's flyweight, Lauren Murphy beat Joanne Calderwood, while Eric Anders was able to defeat Darren Stewart. This was in the men's light heavyweight. Okay, guys, just some of the matches that we had at the UFC over the weekend. Let's go on our first break. We'll be right back.
Oh yes, Nasco quality cornflakes are so full of nourishing goodness because they are whole-flaked cornflakes. Whole-flaked cornflakes are made by a natural flaking process that retains all the natural goodness of the whole corn for whole nutrition, whole taste, and whole crunchiness for the whole family. So next time you're eating cornflakes, make sure it's whole-flaked Nasco cornflakes. Nasco cornflakes, nourishing goodness anytime.
Uncle Dentist, what can be cavities and how Colgate take they protect my teeth from cavities? Shay, they use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Now, hole for teeth they cause most tooth pain will be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, take brush every day. The confirmed formula could help keep natural calcium inside our teeth. We could protect them from tooth decay.
Time don't reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Yes, cavities out!
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Our oil sachet, 70 naira, only 70 naira. I said our oil sachet now, 70 naira, only 70 naira. Ogbonge cooking oil now, 70 naira. For a healthy family, 70 naira. Ogbonge cooking oil now, 70 naira. Our oil sachet, 70 naira.
Power oil for a healthy family.
The place and it brighten. Make everybody they wonder. Waiting because I'll be shine. Lush hair, lush hair. Long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair, lush hair. So you want to slay? Slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly. You know they tango. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Wonder how I shine like this. I'm on a lush hair, be the coco. Say you want to know. And if you wanna be fine like me, I can show you where to go. A lush hair, be the coco.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
We Junior 9th anniversary sales. Celebrate your happy day. Whatever you want, oh, you can get it on the Junior way. Junior way. Oh yeah.
From the 11th to the 27th of June, you can enjoy up to 60% discount on phones, groceries, home appliances, and so much more. Download the Jumia app today.
Jumia, your everyday delivered.
What is this? I thought I asked all of you to drop whatever you have outside there. I'm sorry, sir. This is Fluco Day. I saw you coughing earlier, so I brought it out for you so you can take it.
Thanks for your kindness, but I'm smarter than that. You think I don't know that every drug that cures cough and catarrh causes drowsiness? So you want me to sleep, Abi?
This is what distinguishes Fluco Day. It does not cause drowsiness.
Nah, drug. I know this drug. It work well.
Let me try it. Manufactured by Harvit.
Marketed and distributed by Pharmatex Nigeria Limited. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
Time up. And you, I said what? Flu.
Fluco Day!
Available in pharmacy shops near you.
Enough of them just too like train. This champion vibe has broken that chain. Stamp on your feet, wave your flag with a touch of class, and then tell them say, I am a born champion. You can be special. You are a born champion. Yeah. Limitless. We are a born champion now. This is the song for the champion.
Yeah, celebrating our born champion, Israel Adesanya of Nigeria. Yesterday, early hours of yesterday, the fight was actually Saturday night, very late Saturday night / Sunday morning. He won. He defended his UFC middleweight title by beating Marvin Vettori. Unanimous point decision for Israel Adesanya. So congratulations to him. And of course, we have another UFC champion, the welterweight King Kamaru Usman, who is in Nigeria currently. And you know, there is another African who is the champion. In fact, he is the king of the mountain. We're talking about the heavyweight division, Francis Ngannou of Cameroon. So Africa holding 3 of the titles, and as Israel Adesanya usually says, well, in the past, the Europeans and other people from other parts of the world, America, they came to Africa and they took away the gold. Now we have come to their continent, they are part of the world, and we are bringing the gold back home to Africa. So congratulations to the African champions at the UFC. Okay, let's go to other sports now, and let's quickly talk about athletics. Well, later today we are going to have the election into the board of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, and this one is coming from the office of the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare. It says that the board of the AFN has been dissolved. Announcing the dissolution on Monday the 14th of June, the Federal Minister of Youth and Sports Development said the tenure of the board has expired. I'm quoting them now. Pursuant to Article 10.4 of the 2017 Constitution of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, the ministry hereby dissolves the board of the AFN. The statement said the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development understands that the AFN will hold an elective congress in Abuja on Monday. Yeah, underline that. The AFN, the Federal Ministry of Sports, they say they understand that the AFN will hold an elective congress in Abuja, not the city, Abuja, on Sunday. Let's read from the statement. We have advised that the election should be organized in accordance with the 2017 Constitution of the AFN as contained in the agreement reached at the reconciliation meeting held in Abuja last April and brokered by the Confederation of African Athletics and World Athletics. The ministry also said that it enjoined delegates at Monday's elective congress to eschew bitterness and conduct themselves in a manner that unites the federation. The AFN had last at its extraordinary congress in Abuja on Sunday, June 13, 2021, asked the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development to invoke Article 10.4 of the AFN Constitution and dissolve the outgoing board. Okay, the reason why I ask that you should note that is that we hear that there is another election that will be taking place in Kebbi State. Yes, and this one is the board that is led, well, the faction that is led by Ibrahim Gusau. His faction claim he is the only recognized president of the AFN that is recognized by the Confederation of African Athletics and also by World Athletics. So they are going to be holding their own election in Kebbi, while the faction that is led by Olamide George will be holding theirs in Abuja. And now the AFN, the Ministry of Sports, they say they are aware of the one that's going to be held in Abuja. And we're asking the question because a couple of weeks back, we had a situation where World Athletics came here, and then the two sides met, and we thought, okay, this is now a resolution of the crisis. But why are we still having this elections being held in two different cities?
Well, I think the big problem now is that Ibrahim Gusau is insisting that the Athletics Federation of Nigeria would not, of course. Okay, now this is the big thing. The big thing is when the World Athletics, of course, came to Nigeria to settle the rifts between the two factions of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. It was agreed in that very meeting that during the next elective congress that the Athletics Federation of Nigeria would use the 2017 constitution of the AFN, and everybody agreed on that. And then after that, a few days to this very election, which you of course hold today, Gusau actually came out to say that why would the World Athletics insist on the 2017 constitution, that of course he would not want to use that very one, and maybe because of that he decided to have his own election in Kebbi State. Now the twist now is that
there was another constitution which was amended in Oka in 2019 by the Gusau-led board. So yes, that's the one
he's insisting on using. Now the big thing here is that in Kebbi State, the chairman of the Kebbi State Athletics Association has come out to say that I'm not aware of any election that will hold in Kebbi State today. If I know about that very election, I would of course let you know. Well, from the look of things, we understand that about 34 athletics various state chairmen would of course be in Abuja today, alongside that of the FCC. They will all be in Abuja, and of course the other delegates will also be there to take part in that very election in Abuja today. From what we're seeing, it looks like the biggest elective congress we're going to have today out of the two factions would of course be that in Abuja, and it looks like that will be the recognized one, because the World Athletics has said you cannot use the constitution that was of course drafted in 2019. Remember, that very one was shrouded in a lot of secrecy, and then there is so many of the board members of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria were not carried along in the drafting of that very constitution. So the World Athletics said we cannot use that, we cannot allow you to use that very constitution. You have to use the 2017 constitution to hold this very elective congress today.
But that's what the group led by Olamide George is saying. Gusau and his group, they are saying something else. Listen, Gusau refers to Article 6.1.2 of the 2017 AFN Constitution. It states that only the president of the AFN shall convene the Congress, and he is saying he is the president of the of the AFN. Then Article 19.1 of the 2019 edition, which was amended, states that the president of the AFN shall convene all Congress meetings. So, according to Gusau, let me quote him, the claim by these other people that the World Athletics has rejected the amended constitution is false, and indeed intended to deceive the delegates and the athletics family. It is in recognition and acceptance of the amended constitution that the world body reflected and still has Simi Nialayi Young People as the Director General of the AFN, with Gusau as president. So he is saying that even World Athletics recognizes him as the president, so he is the one who has the authority to convene the elective congress.
So why is it not in Abuja?
No, but that's why he's saying, as the president, I have the right to say I'm holding it in
Kebbi State.
Yeah, that's his argument.
But that one that will be held in Kebbi State is not going to be recognized. Honestly, even
not going to be recognized by
the Federal Minister of Youth and Sports.
But he is saying he has the backing of World Athletics, so it doesn't matter what the Ministry of Youth and Sports say.
Come on, I think also this time, I think one thing happening with some of our sports administrators when it comes to ego, sometimes we have to put pride and all those things aside and work together in harmony and see how we can take our sports forward, because we are going to the Olympics right now. Many countries right now are already counting the number of medals they are expecting, but we are hopeful in some events, but with the way things are going right now, it doesn't work that way. Last time that the Minister of Sports came to the Samuel Munda Stadium ahead of the National Sports Festival, it was Olamide George that came with him. They were there and he recognized him, and he also spoke to us journalists after that Thursday meet tracks at the Samuel Munda Stadium. So I don't know, we've had this before, even in the basketball. talking about the Basketball Federation, Engineer Kida, and the others. But I don't think this is the best way to go. Why don't we come together and have one board that will just ensure that everybody plays their parts and ensure that we get to the next level. So having different elections is waste of resources and time, and at the same time causing trouble, here and there in the federation. So for me, I don't think this is right, and I hope that the Federal Minister of the Honorable Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Sunday Dare, he should also try as much as possible. I know he must have tried his best to bring them together, but it doesn't work that way. It's not really easy for you to tell the two parties to shift their swords and all that, because they are all laying claims to the presidency. So for me, I think it's not right, but whichever way, let them follow that of the 2017. If they follow that, I think the one held in Abuja will be the authentic one, not one election being held in Kebbi State.
Okay, we'll see what happens. It's Monday. It is the day of the election, or the elections. One in Abuja, one in Kebbi. So we'll see what happens at the end.
Who wants to start the trouble on a Monday morning, for goodness sake?
It's been brewing. It's been brewing for some time, and we knew that it was going to happen. Okay, guys, let's come to football now and talk about Bendel Insurance. The governor of Edo State, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, was at the hospital over the weekend to see players and officials of Bendel Insurance who unfortunately sustained injuries during a recent game against Remo Stars in Ikene. And the governor wasn't happy at all with what he saw. No governor will be happy seeing his players, his citizens being attacked in another state, and then they are in the hospital. But let's hear from the governor, then we'll come back to talk about what he said.
I mean, this is very barbaric. I mean, this is not in the spirit of sportsmanship. You cannot, in a tournament, name your players or your colleagues the way the Bendel Insurance players have been, also wounded and injured because they went to play the league match in the Reverend Ball Club in Ogun State. I'm really shocked, very disappointed that more than a week after this incident, the managers of the league haven't come up to met out the appropriate sanction when sort of horrific behavior from the other side. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that we can continue with the league. For now, we'll suspend our participation in the league until the NFF takes appropriate sanctions against those who injured our players, and more importantly, they must also take an interest in the cost of treating our players, and we want to see that the right thing is done in the league. This is the third time, I understand, that Bendel Insurance players are being attacked because of the league. It's not war, it's supposed to be a football match.
Yes, just days ago, the deputy governor threatened legal suit over this matter. Are you going ahead?
Oh, certainly we are. We'll have to take legal action. I mean, one of the players, our captain, was missing for close up to 24 hours. So we will take appropriate legal action. But more importantly, we will suspend our participation in the league until the NFF takes appropriate action.
That was the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, speaking there after he visited the players and officials at the Central Hospital in Benin City, and he's not happy. And I said, look, Bendel Insurance are going to be pulling out of the NNL. Well, we have also been asking the question. I mean, it's over a week now. So why is it that the NNL has not come up? Well, I understand that is the organizing and disciplinary committee of the NFF that will eventually take action. But at least the NNL should have released the statement. All they did was to say that the matter is being looked at. That they're going to come up with a decision soon. But by now, there ought to have been something, or even if it is just to say whoever were the perpetrators of that heinous act, that they are going to be apprehended, they are going to be dealt with and whatever, and that if Remo Stars, there are times when before they even take that decision, they make such statement. They say things like if the club involved does not produce the people who spearheaded that attack, that they are going to be suspended or something. They make some statement, but up till now they have not said anything. And after the deputy governor threatened that they were going to sue Remo Stars, they were going to sue the owner of Remo Stars, they were going to consider participating in the NNL. Up till now, nothing has happened, and I've been communicating with the media director of the NNL. I'm asking him, what is going on, guy? Why have you guys not said anything? I said even he too is is worried about this. Maybe they want to thoroughly investigate before they will come up with something.
A few days ago, the chairman of the NNL, I think Senator Solomon Abba, came out to very much speak about this matter, though he didn't talk about it extensively. He said that they are looking at the matter, and of course they will take actions on the
yeah, but that's the same rhetoric that we've had from day one, but there has not been a statement put out officially to say this is what we are going to do. But
what I'm thinking is maybe the NNL, since the matter is already on the table of the disciplinary committee of the NFF, I'm thinking the NNF don't want to preempt the Nigerian Football Federation, but then a statement should have been put out to at least distance themselves away from things like this, because they're a league body that organizes the NNL. If something like this happened under your watch, you've got to come out to say that, look, we don't condone this very thing in any way. We don't condone people being attacked because of a football match. We don't want this to continue to happen. And we have, of course, very much in future, we will do this and that to ensure that things like this don't get to happen. But we've not seen any concrete statement coming from the NNL. So we're hoping that maybe in the next few days, the NNL, the Nigerian Football Federation, via its disciplinary committee would, of course, come out to at least states that those very sanctions will be meted out to Remo Stars to ensure that things like this don't get to happen again. Like the governor of Edo State rightly said, you don't get beaten because you went to prosecute a football match in its entirety. It's pretty very much wrong, and we must commend him for at least going to see the players of Bendel Insurance. He has also said that the insurance players are covered by the state insurance scheme, which is a laudable initiative, in its own way. So let's see what the NFF would, of course, do. That's very matter. The matter should have been decided by now. It's about a week, and it's another weekend that just passed, and nothing has happened.
Yeah, because we saw videos. We saw the videos, and I'm sure the NFF too. They have seen the videos. So maybe to say, okay, this person, because there were some people that were mentioned who were officials of Remo Stars. So even if you do not know those in the crowd who came down and started attacking Bendel Insurance player, but you know certain persons who were there, who were at the center. So you could mention their names and say, look, if you do not get us the people who perpetrated this act, we are going to ban you for this number of years. You are not going to have anything to do with football anymore. But that's the situation now. The governor has said that Bendel Insurance will not be participating in the NNL again until they get something concrete from the Organizing and Disciplinary Committee of the Nigerian Football Federation and the Nigerian National League. But maybe the league now, I think they are a bit lucky that the league is not even in session now, because they told us due to some reasons they wanted to deal with the ITO Cup and other stuff. The league is temporarily put on hold, so that's why we've not been having matches. So if the governor insists on this move that Bendel Insurance are going to be pulling out, it means that if Bendel Insurance has a match in midweek, for instance, they will not be playing, because they have said they will be pulling out except they get something from the authorities. Anyway, in the Nigerian Professional Football League, we had some games yesterday, so let's get to the results.
All right, the result of the matches that we played yesterday: Heartland FC, we have 2-1 winners over Jigawa Golden Stars. Nasarawa United defeated Plateau United 2-0. Katsina United enjoyed a 3-1 win over the People's Elephants in Imba International, while bottom side Adamawa United beat Rivers United 2-0. Wiki Tourists beat FC Fanyigba 4-3 in the 7-goal thriller. Kwara United enjoyed a 1-0 win over MFM FC. Abia Warriors defeated Lubi Stars 2-0, while Rangers International at the Cathedral spanked Sunshine Stars 4-1. Warri Wolves at the Warri Township Stadium were beaten by Dakada FC. But the match between Kano Pillars and Akwa United, the match was suspended. when it was in the 87th minute, because the pandemonium broke out. The same issues we are talking about right now in the Nigerian National League also happened, despite the organizers telling fans not to come out because of COVID-19. You need to see how the stadium was packed full, and the same thing happened. So tell me, when are we going to correct all this? When are we going to see an interesting match, without fans encroaching the pitch and taking the laws into their hands because of little details? The president referee is there to take care of your match, even if he makes mistakes and all that. But then you have to wait and channel your grievances through the right processes. Look at what they did. That was how the match was abandoned. But we were told that the match will continue this morning. Maybe play the remaining 3 minutes and all that, and he added time. So for me, I think that wasn't really nice.
Yesterday, trouble started when Ima Wagwa scored the goal.
The goal that was
the linesman disallowed it, and of course the fans felt that it was actually a goal, and they ran into the pitch and of course started harassing the players of Aqua United. The LMC are yet to make a proper statement on this very matter. They should have done that by now, because in the first place, like you also rightly said, you're not supposed to allow fans what matches. Kano Pillars been playing in Kaduna at the ABS Stadium, so you wonder how fans moved all the way from Kano to Kaduna to watch Kano Pillars, and of course they were allowed into the stadium.
Kano Pillars have got a fans in Kaduna.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, you can imagine how fans were allowed into the stadium to watch a match that they shouldn't have watched in the first place. The NFF have said you're not supposed to allow fans into the stadium. The presented task force on COVID-19, they've said you're not supposed to allow fans watch matches. So you wonder what the organizers of that very football match, the match commissioner and then the rest. I mean, if you have fans in the stadium that fans should not be there, the match commissioner has the right to say, okay, this match would not go on unless the fans leave this very stadium, because that's the law.
All right, top of the table now, Aqua United 50 points. Second right now is Kano Pillars. They've both played 27 matches. Nasarawa United third on 48 points, and Aquara United fourth on 46 points from 26 matches. Okay, let's go to the national team. The Super Falcons were in action yesterday, and they played out a 3-3 draw with Portugal.
Yeah, good one for them. Though they made some mistakes, which cost them early goals. But at the same time, the Portuguese also made the same mistake that enabled the Falcons, to equalize. But what I really liked about these guys was their fighting spirit. They never, took their foot off the pedal. Even when it was 3-1, they fought and they got the second goal 3-2, and they also ensured that they finished pleased, sharing the spoils of Ghana still finishing in the draw. That Rashida Tajibade's goal, although it was really a heartbreaking goal for the Portuguese, but for the Super Falcons, you need to see how they celebrated it, the touchline, Randy Wardrum, even the way he spoke to them, in the dressing room and all that. So it shows that this is one manager who knows how to bring back the best in the guests, and even when they don't do well, he knows how to talk to them, he knows how to motivate them, and he's really confident of himself and the guests. So that was really a great performance, because when you look at the Portuguese team, their female team, really tough side, honestly, and I was wondering if they could play the Portuguese this way, how we ended beaten by the reggae guests of Jamaica. But sometimes it happens that way because many of our players could not connect to camp because of visa delay and all that. But yesterday it was good. I see them going to that match against United States in confidence, despite being the underdog in that game.
Okay, we've got to speed things up now, and we go to Euro 2020. First off, guys, we are celebrating because we left the studio heartbroken on Saturday because we didn't know what was happening with Christian Eriksen. He collapsed while we were here live, and even watching it thousands of miles away, we felt it. And to imagine what his fiancée was going through, what his teammates were going through, who were there live with him, what the fans in the stadium were going through. But he pulled through. Thank God he was revived even right there on the pitch. As at that time that they screened him, and we've got to say well done to Simon Kjær, who's the captain of Denmark. So he was the first to reach him, and he was the first to clear his airway so that he doesn't swallow his tongue. So before the paramedics even came, Simon Kjær had already started giving him CPR, and eventually they came and they did the professional CPR, and everything. For about 6 minutes he was gone. He was by all calculations gone. He was dead. That was the same thing that happened to Fabrice Muamba. Muamba was dead for 78 minutes. For 78 minutes, he was dead. But the medics did not give up. They kept trying, and eventually they got him back. And that was something that happened to Christian Eriksen. He was revived right there in the hospital, and right there on the pitch, they took him to the hospital. And he, in fact, was the one who told his teammates and the Finnish national team that they should go ahead and play that. In fact, right now, he feels like he's ready to go for training. He doesn't even know what happened. But now the doctor has told us that he suffered a cardiac arrest. And from what we know, in Italy, there is a law that any player or any sports person that suffers a cardiac arrest will not participate in sports again in Italy. It's a law. It's not like it's something that... So, since it's been confirmed now that Christian Eriksen suffered a cardiac arrest, by the law of Italy, he cannot play for Inter Milan or any other Italian club. Remember that Kanu Nwankwo was at Inter Milan when but thank God he did not suffer a cardiac arrest. It was during a routine medical checkup that they discovered that he had a weak aorta valve, and then they had to perform surgery on him. Otherwise, unfortunately, that's kind of thing that happened to Christian Eriksen could have affected him. But thank God he was caught, and that's why Kanu could play on, and he played for a long time until he retired. So Christian Eriksen, thank God, is alive. Later the match was played. People have criticized why they had to play that match after what happened, but Denmark lost that game 1-0.
Well, it was an unfortunate incident on a Saturday. We, of course, all here in the studio were praying for Christian Eriksen to actually survive that very attack. Well, I mean, we must say thumbs up to the Danish medical team. They did a wonderful job on the day, and also to the captain of Denmark, who of course had to manually help his teammate out. They very much supported, Christian Eriksen on the day. They built a wall of shield on the young man to protect him from cameramen and of course other viewers who were watching around the world. It was a difficult day for the Danish national team. I mean, in as much as Christian Eriksen was able to survive it, he told them to go on to play, but you can't imagine those players. I mean, in that very state of shock, going ahead to play against Denmark for the rest of that very match. For me watching, it was even a difficult one for me to continue to watch the match, knowing fully well that we didn't even know up until the moment that the match finished, the fate of Christian Eriksen. But then I think we have got to somehow criticize UEFA. They should have allowed the match to be played the next day.
The next day.
At least to allow the players.
They actually asked the players. The players said since they had already spoken to Christian Eriksen and he told them, you guys should play.
You know how it is. I mean, I don't think there's any way the players will say.
Yeah, but even today, the coach of Denmark is saying that with the benefit of hindsight, they should not have played because their mind was not in the right place.
It's a psychological battle.
The match was over for so many.
It was over for them. For us watching, there's no need to watch this match again.
That's when you realize that there is more to life than sports. It's passionate and everything, but look, at that point, everybody forgot football. Nobody cared about the game anymore. All we were hoping and praying for was that Christian Eriksen should survive it, and it was really wonderful. In fact, the shield, the curtains that were used to surround him when he was being taken away, guess what they were? It was actually flags of Finland. The Finnish fans who had their flags gave it to the players to hold around, the medical crew to hold around Christian Eriksen so that they could take him away in privacy, and so that people will not be taking pictures of him in maybe contorted face and all kinds of stuff. So we want to thank all the fans, and the fans at the stadium. The fans of Finland will scream Christian, and the fans of Denmark will say Eriksen. That was what they were doing after they took him away. They kept chanting his name, and as somebody pointed out, on that day, Muslims all over the world were praying for a Christian. Everybody was just posting, God, please save this guy. Save this. The whole world was united, and that's what wanted. That's the power of sports. Absolutely. That's what it can bring, and that's when you realize that. Look, every other thing is secondary. Life is the most important thing. Anyway, we don't have enough time to do all of this. We will, of course, return in the evening and tell you more when we have 1 hour of football. So the results of Copa America will give you to Brazil. They've started, they won their game yesterday, and the results of the Euros. We'll discuss this in the evening. England, of course, winning their game yesterday. The first time they were winning their first match at the Euros. They beat Croatia 1-0. Okay, let's go to tennis. Novak Djokovic has won his 19th Grand Slam. And this is his second French Open, and he becomes the first man in the Open era. The Open era started in 1968 to win each of the Grand Slam at least twice. Yeah, Rafael Nadal has only won one Australian Open. Roger Federer has only won one French Open title, even though they both have 20 Grand Slams, and Novak Djokovic has 19. So Novak Djokovic is right there in the conversation of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. You know, before that very much, Novak Djokovic was on 18 Grand Slam titles. But then a lot of people were saying, okay, just wish that Tsitsipas would at least beat him so that he remain on the 19. Because on 18 rather, because when the tournament kick started, a lot of people felt, okay, Nadal or maybe Federer would add to, you know, their own titles that they won.
Not Federer, surely. Nadal, because
it would make it 21, because the two of them are on 20 each. But then Djokovic, of course, stayed true to himself, and you know, has gotten his 19th title now. So we're looking at him maybe in the US Open or probably in the Wimbledon. He could have.
Wimbledon is in 2 weeks' time. I don't know if he can recover, having played till the final and 5 sets against Stefanos Tsitsipas. But look, we go back to what I was saying about these youngsters for the men. As I've said several times, well done to the old guard for winning. But come on, you are in the final of the French Open. I know that it is your first Grand Slam final, but you were 2 sets to love up against the world number 1 who was playing really poorly. Surely Stefanos Tsitsipas could have lifted his game in that 3rd set to, okay, even if you lost that 3rd set, in the 4th set, come on, Rafael Nadal or Novak Djokovic will not lose after going 2 sets to love up in the final of a Grand Slam. So this is what these youngsters have got to learn. What is known as the silent eye in sports. When you blot out everything and you focus, you concentrate, there must be singleness of purpose. You tell yourself, today you cannot beat me. Today, right now, you can't beat me on this day. He didn't have it.
I think the difference has to be experience. You know, for Tsitsipas, like you rightly said,
we're talking experience. Hold on, Tsitsipas is over 20. At his age, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, and Roger Federer were already winning Grand Slams.
Yeah, but then no 2 players are the same. I mean, Tsitsipas is separate. Djokovic is a world-class player.
CJ, you know what happened?
How did he become world-class? He became world-class by playing against those who were more experienced and beating them. So Tsitsipas, Dominic Thiem, Alexander Zverev, and the rest of them, they should get to that level.
I thought we are going to be seeing a shock yesterday. If not a straight set win, maybe a 3-1. You know, for Tsitsipas because of the way he started, but he allowed Novak Djokovic to bring back that aggressive factor. And once he brings back that aggressive factor, there is nothing. And once the ball started going in favor of Djokovic, all you need to see was that Tsitsipas begin to, you know, withered, you know, begin to make mistakes and all that. And Djokovic did happen against Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal, who is a clay court supremo, he haven't won that first set. When Djokovic won the second set, things started working in favor of Djokovic, and Nadal started suffering, though it was hand-to-hand stuff. But yesterday, 5 sets.
If it is Djokovic versus Nadal or Djokovic versus Federer, I will not say anything because look, both guys are experienced and so it will have to do with mistakes and but there is something about the mentality which these young lads don't have. Stefanos Tsitsipas was in a very good position to win that game yesterday, and how he lost it only he can explain. Djokovic mainly changed what he was doing, the way he was playing, and he started attacking the backhand of Tsitsipas in the 3rd set and in the 4th set and also in the 5th set, and that's how he won. Okay, we are running out of time, so let's just quickly take the results of the NBA. What went down? Brooklyn Nets, they were in action against Milwaukee Bucks, and I tell you, this is getting really interesting. It's now 2-2. Giannis Antetokounmpo got 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. Kevin Durant got 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. So Brooklyn Nets won this encounter. Milwaukee Bucks won this 107 points to 96. So it is now 2-2 in the Eastern Conference semi-finals. But in the Western Conference semi-finals, it is all over for Denver Nuggets, even though Nikola Jokic is the MVP. Chris Paul got 37.3 rebounds and 7 assists, while Nikola Jokic got 22 points, 11 rebounds and 4 assists. He was later ejected from the game, but the Phoenix Suns are in the Western Conference finals. They won this. It was a rout, 4-0 for them. So later tonight we'll have Philadelphia 76ers taking on Atlanta Hawks, while Utah Jazz will play against LA Clippers. Okay, that's what went down in the NBA. All right, guys, wish we could go on, but on this where we have to blow the final whistle.
I have put myself in a good position to go for the Golden Slam. Everything is possible. I have achieved some things that a lot of people thought it would be not possible for me to achieve. World number 1, Novak Djokovic, says everything is possible as he targets a Golden Grand Slam in 2021 after winning the French Open for the second time against Stefanos Tsitsipas in 5 sets on Sunday. And that's the final whistle on Sports Fiesta this morning.
And as I mentioned earlier, the Golden Slam is winning all 4 Grand Slams of the year and winning the Olympic gold medal. If anybody can do it, you feel Novak Djokovic is that guy. But can he recover 2 weeks before Wimbledon and also go on to win the Australian Open? We'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, thank you very much. This is where we are going to drop anchor. But don't worry, at 4 p.m. we'll be back to talk football only on the show that we call Balls of Fire. My name is Salih Ibrahim. I've been doing this with Ebosa Igbekan and CJ. Okay, guys, see you. But please stay tuned. Remember that KU News Update is